It's time for Come and Talk It with your host, Michael Cargill, brought to you by Texas Law Shield. Over the last decade, Michael has championed and supported the rights of law-abiding Texans to own and use firearms. He is the owner of Central Texas Gun Works, a veteran of the United States Army, and has achieved national exposure in such prestigious media outlets such as Forbes Magazine, Fox Business News, CNN Money, AOL, BBC World News, Huffington Post, and the New York Times. Cargill vigorously defends lawful gun ownership in this country without regard to party politics. And now, here's Michael Cargill.
I'll go get him. I'm supposed to have him at 3:15. And you're playing games telling me that I can pick him up at 6? I'm going to have the cops. I've already got the cops on the way to your mom's house. Because that's probably where he is. It's not when I'm done working. I get him at 3:15. I get him at 3:15. I don't care if you wanted to see him or not. I get him at 3:15. If you want to see him, you see him up until 3:15. You keep trying to keep my son from me. I'm fixing to drag you and Anne-Marie and everybody else into court. I'm subpoenaing your mom. I'm subpoenaing Anne-Marie.
This is on video. I'm very
Yeah,
glad.
leave. Do it right now. You better use it, mother. God damn it, I'll take it from you.
Call the police. Call 911.
My son.
Call 911. Call 911. Call 911. Call 911.
This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It. Let me tell you, good day, Austin, Texas, live music capital of the world. Let's praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. All right, so we're taking a look at this video here from Lubbock, Texas. This has gone around the country. It was on Good Morning America. It's going to be on every national network in the country this week. And what we're looking at is in Lubbock, Texas, you have a Second Amendment advocate, who should know better, knowing that you cannot shoot someone for criminal trespass. You have a guy that's going to a house, and we're gonna find out a little more about this story. He goes to a house, and he's there to pick up his kids at 3:15. And he said, he's saying in his video, look, I'm here to pick up my children. It's 3:15. I'm supposed to get them at 3:15. Where are my kids? And so there's some kind of game being played here as you look at it in the background here. And so the homeowner goes in the house, which I believe is the boyfriend of the ex-wife, goes in the house, gets a rifle, which is a Ruger PC, a Ruger PC-9?
It's like a 9.
Yeah, it's a 9mm. It's a Ruger PC-9, I think, carbine, 9mm. Goes to the house, gets a rifle, and he comes back outside. And listen to me, folks. I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't know where you are, what part of the country that you're in, what part of Texas that you're in. You cannot shoot someone for criminal trespass, people. Let me repeat that. You cannot shoot someone for criminal trespass. What you do is you go in the house, you call the police, you let the police come out, and you let the police issue a criminal trespass warning. That person needs to leave. They refuse to leave. They are arrested. That's how you handle it. But instead, he goes in the house, he gets a rifle, he comes back outside. This guy, the husband bumps him with his chest, with his hands next to his side, and this kind of looks like a little man complex here. He bumps his chest, and I get it. I understand. I get it. This guy is intimidating you, and you feel like you need to teach him a lesson. So then what does he do? He takes a step back. He fires a shot. When he fired that shot, ladies and gentlemen, that is deadly conduct. That is assault. That is aggravated assault. You cannot fire warning shots, people. You can't shoot someone for criminal trespass. You can't fire warning shots. And when you do, guess what? The lady who's standing behind him, that is deadly conduct.
He fired at his feet, didn't he?
Yeah,
Wasn't
he
that
did.
First shot when he was aiming down at the deceased feet.
Yeah, you cannot do that. You can't do that. And I don't know what's going on in this state, in this country. I'm looking at comments from like all the different media outlets, KXAN, Good Morning America. I'm looking at the comments, and I'm telling you right now, this is the main reason why you people need to take a handgun license course, because you don't have a clue of what the gun laws in the state that you live in. You need to take a class and learn the laws, learn use of force and deadly force, learn conflict resolution, how to calm those situations down. You cannot shoot someone for criminal trespass. You cannot fire warning shots. You are committing a crime. So then his words right here. Listen to this.
911.
His words are, look, I told you guys to leave. His words bury him.
Kyle, you did it, not him.
I told all of y'all to leave.
We came to get his son.
He's not here.
She should have told that.
And that's it right there.
That.
His words bury him. He said, I told y'all to leave. Ladies and gentlemen, he just admitted that he fired that shot because of criminal trespass, because he told him to leave his property. You cannot shoot someone for criminal trespass. If he would have said, the Lubbock Police Department, I'm sorry, this is Michael Cargill, and I'm telling you right now, they're incompetent because you cannot use castle doctrine in this case. Here's what the Texas Castle Doctrine means, ladies and gentlemen. That means that if someone is unlawfully entering or removing you from your home, your vehicle, your place of business, you can use force or deadly force to stop them. If someone, let me say this again, the Castle Doctrine means if someone is unlawfully entering or removing you from your home, your vehicle, your place of business. So let me ask you this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me ask you this. Was the guy outside the home picking up his kids, was he trying to enter the house? Was he trying to remove this guy from his house?
Was he trying to unlawfully enter the house, right?
The answer is no. And then the next question is, then you cannot use force, deadly force in that situation. And then your next question is, was he trying to kill him? That's the question. Not did he bump him with his chest, he hit him, he pushed him, whatever, he swung him around. Not any of that. Was he trying to kill him? Because the law says if a person is committing aggravated kidnapping, murder, sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault, robbery, aggravated robbery, you can use force or deadly force to stop him. And this guy, Kyle Coverup, who happens to be a Second Amendment advocate, should know better than this. And let me tell you this, folks. The judge, he's married to a judge. He's married to Judge Coverup, who happened to be in the house at the time.
Yeah, he happened to be getting a divorce from a state district judge.
And she happened to be in the house at the time. And then guess what? With all this in mind, this is why he was not arrested. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, you cannot fire a gun because someone is on your property and you want them to leave for criminal trespass. You cannot do that in Texas. It has to be if they're trying to unlawfully enter or remove you from your home, your vehicle, your place of business. If they're trying to commit burglary, they're trying to commit robbery, theft in the nighttime, criminal mischief through the nighttime. Then you can use force, deadly force to stop them. You got to learn the laws of the state and where you live. If you do not, you're gonna look at these cases like Kyle Rittenhouse, and you're gonna end up on the wrong side of justice. You're gonna look at the Ahmaud Arbery case, and you're gonna get convicted like the McMichaels. Learn the laws of the state that you live in. If you're not, you're going to jail. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jack Jones here, and I get my gun news from Michael Cargill on Come and Talk It.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government. After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, we're going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02, The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were compliant with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
And we're back. We're talking about a shooting that took place in Lubbock, Texas, back on November the 5th. And this, folks, has not seen the light of day until right before Thanksgiving, because the person that pulled the trigger, the shooter, happens to be married to a judge, a district judge that was appointed by Governor Greg Abbott. And I'm telling you, I don't look at color. I don't care what you look like. I don't care where you are in society, if you're rich, you're poor, whatever. When I see something wrong, I'm going to let you know. I don't care. This guy, Kyle Carruth, married to Judge Carruth. Here we are in a situation, and the video's playing in the background here. A young man, Chad Reed, goes to his house to pick up his kids. He's supposed to meet his kids at 3:15 to take custody of his children at 3:15 p.m. The wife's like, no, come back at 6. He's like, no, I'm supposed to pick her at 3:15. They're playing some type of game here, that it looks to me. So then the homeowner, Kyle Carruth, goes into his house and gets a rifle, which is a Ruger?
A 9.
Ruger 9mm. Goes into his house, gets a rifle, comes back outside, and says, leave, get off the property. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. If my neighbors have a brand new swimming pool, I like to use this example in my class, and I want to jump their fence and go swimming in their pool for as long as I want to, I can do that. There's nothing that they can do other than try to drag me out of the pool. I can still get my laps in and get my workout in. The worst thing to do is call the police, have the police come and drag me out and arrest me, charge of criminal trespass, and I'll go to jail if I refuse to leave. That's the worst thing that can happen. You cannot shoot someone for criminal trespass. So he goes in the house, gets a rifle, comes outside and says, hey, leave. You cannot make this. This guy says, hey, I'm not leaving. He puts his hand to his side. He bumps him with his chest. So what? You can't have that little man complex because they bumped you with your chest. At some point, and I've said this before, maybe leave the gun inside the house if maybe it's time to fight. There's nothing wrong with that. A gun's not for every single situation. You have to be a bigger person. Instead, he goes in the house, he gets a gun, he comes back outside, he says, get off my property, leave. He takes a step back, he fires a shot at the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, that is assault. That is assault. Aggravated assault. You cannot do that. And also, it's aggravated assault against the person that he fired the shot. It's deadly conduct because the lady was standing, the ex-wife was standing behind him. He could have shot her. That is deadly conduct. And then Something happens. He gets swung around. He's like 4 feet away, pulls out the rifle, pulls it up, shoots this guy point blank, kills him. Murder. And for some reason, the Lubbock Police Department hasn't filed any charges because inside the house was the judge, Judge Coverup. She's inside the home, and they're like, well, there's a judge here. And so now we're looking at the assistant district attorney has recused himself of the case. And we've seen this happen before. Obviously, they're not paying attention to what's going on around the country. We saw this happen in the Ahmaud Arbery case, where you have a district attorney recuse themselves. You are an elected official. Police officers do not have the authority. They do not have that opportunity to recuse themselves of arresting someone as a police officer. You can't do that. I'm a police officer, and I see you did something wrong, but you're an elected official. I'm going to recuse myself and not arrest you. You don't have that right. You've sworn an oath. You have sworn an oath to uphold the law. That is your job. Do your job in Lubbock. Lubbock Police Department, do your job. If you can't, then resign or quit. We're not going to stand for that. And I'm calling for the governor, Governor Abbott. I'm calling for the Texas Attorney General to get into Lubbock, Texas, and do something immediately. Something needs to be done. Let me bring into the show. We have a family member that was actually someone who's related to Mr. Chad Reed that was fatally shot that day. Let me bring into the show Natalie Weaver. You're on with Come and Talk It.
Hi, how are you guys?
I'm doing great, Natalie. How are you doing today?
We are hanging in there.
You hanging in there, Natalie? I know it's rough.
Yes, it is. It has not been a great couple of weeks, to say the least.
So please tell us, Natalie, who you are and how you're related to the deceased.
So I am Chad Reed's stepdaughter, Jennifer Reed's daughter.
Okay. And how well did your mother know Kyle?
My mom actually didn't know Kyle that well at all. She knew of him, knew of the affair going on between Christina and Kyle, but all she had known about him was what Chad had told her, because Chad and him kind of go way back. So my mom did not know Kyle personally.
Okay, and then please, go through and explain what happened that day as best as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just like it said in the video, Chad had a court-ordered time pickup of 3:15. He picked up his kids from school on Friday. However, Colton had been sick, so Christina was supposed to take him to the doctor, keep him out of school, and like I said, take him to the doctor. So 3:15 comes around, and they picked up my little brother, who is 11, and they texted Christina and said, hey, where is Colton? We're going to come get him. And she said, I'll be home at 6. You can get him then. He said, no, it's my time to pick up Colton. Where is he? I'll come get him. Just let me know where he's at. You can have him then.
Okay, say that one more time. We lost you there for a second.
I'll be home at 6. You can get him then. Okay. I'm at work or something along those lines.
Okay.
So as they were driving to go pick up his oldest son, he decided to swing by her work, which is, I guess, where Kyle's been living too. We're all kind of confused by that, but it's where Christina had been working. So he pulled up there to see if Colton was there, and all of this kind of unfolds. So that's the stuff that's what happened leading up to the moment of the video.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, who was actually at the scene? Who was there, when all this went down?
So my mom and my 11-year-old brother went in the car, and she's actually the one that filmed the video that you guys are all seeing. Her attorney had told her to start videoing all of the conversations between Chad and Christina because Christina had been lying about things happening. So she was ordered to video everything, which is why she was videoing in this instance. And then Kyle and Christina and Chad. And then you see a bunch of random people in the video that we're not quite sure who they are. But that's all that we are aware of that were at the scene when it happened.
Okay. Was the judge in the house?
As far as I know, she was not. But I mean, yeah, as far as I know, she was not in the house.
Okay. And then why didn't the police arrest Kyle?
We are all asking the same question. he's like you stated, he's married to a district judge. Their divorce was just finalized a couple of weeks ago. He's also pretty well known around this area, and I've heard that he's, got money and pull and status. But it's not okay. He should have at least been detained for the 72 hours that they have to hold somebody without charging them, and they didn't even do that. So he wasn't, drug tested, alcohol tested, nothing. I don't even know that he was taken to the station. My mom and Frankie were, and Christina was, but as far as we know, Kyle wasn't even taken to the station and questioned. Absolutely bizarre. And we're all very frustrated and disappointed with Lubbock PD and everybody else involved that there has not been an arrest made.
Right. And so I don't know if your mother's close by, if she has anything she wants to add to it or anything like that.
She's actually not close by. It's extremely hard for her to relive everything, talk about it. That's unfortunately she can barely get out of bed right now. So.
Oh, I can imagine. I've a couple people have looked at this video and they're like, man, this is just awful. It's awful, because
it's absolutely. Yeah.
You're talking about someone who's going to a house to pick up their kids, at a scheduled time, 3:15 p.m. And then everyone around is playing some type of game, seems like, and not, giving giving him access to the child at 3:15 p.m.
And the child isn't even there.
Right.
And the child's not even there, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And that wasn't even said until after that final shot.
Yeah, yes, I believe you're right on that. But yeah, this is not a first time thing. This was not the first time she had withheld her kids from him. It's not the first time that she's played games with him. As you can hear him say in the video, I've been dealing with you. You've been playing games with me for the past, X amount of years, and I'm done. And so, yeah, it's absolutely terrible. He just, like I said, he was so innocent in the situation. He was unarmed, was not causing any, harm to anybody or the property. And, there's actually, a lot of people miss this, but there's 2 shots fired before he actually kills Chad. And those are aggravated assaults with deadly weapons.
Absolutely.
But the first shot is, he shoots at Chad before Chad even is up close to him. So the second shot is when he shoots at his feet, but there's that first shot where Chad isn't even near him. And, there's so many people saying, oh, this is a warning shot. No, that's aggravated assault. Warning shots are illegal, yes, but that's aggravated assault.
Right. And you cannot do warning shots. You cannot fire around in city limits.
It's illegal. Yeah. It's so illegal. And that's what's so frustrating about all of this is, even if it's not self-defense in any way, shape, or form, but even if you say it is, there was so much illegal activity going on. Withholding your child is a state felony.
Yes.
And so yeah.
Yeah, you're right, because you're looking at there's a when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what are you looking at when you're holding a child and keeping a child from their parent. We're going to talk about that and more. Man, thank you, Natalie Weaver. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
This is Brittany Glaze, and I get my global gun news from Michael Cargill on Come and Talk It.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, I invoke my right to remain silent, and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings, because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs, but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're talking about a shooting happened in Lubbock, Texas. We're talking about a shooting that happened, a shooting of Chad Reed. He was actually shot and killed by Kyle Carruth, who happens to be married to Judge Anne Marie Carruth. And when you're listening to the video actually says, Chad actually says, I'm going to haul you into court, I'm going to haul you into court, I'm going to haul Anne Marie into court. He's talking about Judge Anne Marie Carruth into court. He says it twice.
And everybody else in the court. I'm subpoenaing your mom. I'm subpoenaing Anne Marie. This is on video. I'm very leave. Do it right now. You better use it, mother. Good God, David. I'll take it from you.
Call the police. Call 911.
And let me tell you, when it comes to trespass occurs when a person enters onto or into property knowing that entry is forbidden or remains on the property after being told to leave by someone with authority. And you cannot shoot someone for a trespass or a criminal trespass. Going back to the example above, if you grab your firearm, go outside and fire a shot at the trespasser or someone merely creeping around your yard, you will likely find yourself facing a serious felony. Let me read that again for you armchair attorneys, for you people that are on Facebook and Twitter and social media in the comment section. Going back to the example above, if you grab your firearm, you go outside and you fire a shot at the trespasser or someone merely creeping around your yard, you will likely find yourself facing a serious felony. In these circumstances, Texas law only permits the use of force, not deadly force. This is the prime example why you people need to get your butt in a license to carry handgun course and learn what the laws are in this state. You need to learn use of force and deadly force, learn conflict resolution, because a gun is not for every single situation. You got to learn the laws. Also, I want to take a look at, Texas Penal Code 2503, interference with a child custody. That's important. A person commits an offense if the person takes or restrains a child younger than 18 years of age. And this is really important because, if a non-custodial parent commits an offense, if with the intent to interfere with the lawful custody of a child younger than 18 years, the non-custodial parent knowingly enters or persuades the child to leave the custody of the custodial parent, guardian, or person standing instead of the custodian parent. I'm telling you now, you can't interfere with, a father who's trying to pick up his child at the scheduled time. He's trying to pick up that kid. And then just because you're saying get off the property, he's supposed to be there to pick up that, he's supposed to pick up his kid. You're saying to leave. You cannot use force or deadly force because he's committing criminal trespass or trespass. You cannot fire warning shots. Firing warning shots, you are committing a crime. And that is why the Lubbock Police Department should have arrested this guy immediately. Immediately.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a warning shot, right?
You cannot do warning shots.
It's called a felony.
No.
It?
And so, I don't understand what goes on in this country. There's certain people in this country because of your financial status, your race or whatever it is. Unfortunately, if I did that, they would put me under the jail. And that's the facts of it. Let's get it right. Got to get this right. And this is 2021. This is not going to stand. You better learn from what's happened in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. You better learn what's happened in the Ahmaud Arbery case. You better learn from the DA that refused to prosecute, the Ahmaud Arbery case, because you are committing a crime, but not upholding your oath of office, district attorney in Lubbock, Texas. The police department in Lubbock, Texas, you need to educate your police officers on what the castle doctrine means. If someone unlawfully enters or remove you from your home, your vehicle, your place of business, then you can use force, deadly force to stop them. So the question in this case, ladies and gentlemen, look at the video again. The question in this case is, was he trying to enter the home unlawfully? Was he trying to remove him from his home unlawfully? Was he trying to kill him? That is the question. That is what the jury's going to have to answer. Was he trying to kill him? The worst thing this guy was saying was, give me my kid. I'm supposed to pick my kid up at 3:15 p.m. Where's my kid? The worst thing he was saying is, I'm going to haul all you guys in the court. And I'm telling you now, the shooter, Kyle Coverup, he killed himself by saying, Kyle Coverup, the shooter, by him saying, I told you to leave. I told y'all to leave. I didn't want any of this to happen. You're admitting that it's all about criminal trespass, and you did not have the authority to use force or deadly force in the first place. Don't drop the soap. Let me go back to our caller. I don't know if she's still there. All right, awesome. Because Natalie, you were saying something before we went to the break. I'm gonna let you go ahead and say what you have to say. I kind of get hyper there a little bit.
Oh no, you're fine. I don't remember what I was saying.
And I know this is tough, because you've lost a stepfather, your mother has lost a husband, and this is really tough. And and there's so much going on here, and I want you to, kind of tell us a little bit more about, your stepdad, what type of person he was, where did he work, give us a little more.
Yeah, absolutely. Chad and my mom actually just got married 2 months ago. They loved each other so much. And I tell people all the time that I've never seen my mom so taken care of, so happy, so loved in her entire life. And Chad was like a dad to me. I had another stepdad, and Chad is just incredible. And he treated me as one of his own. And even though he's only really in our lives for a short time, he made such a huge impact on all of us. He has so many friends who love him and family, and he is just seriously one of the greatest people I know. And he loved those kids more than anything, and he would do anything for them. And all he wanted these past couple of years was time with his kids. So it's really sad that now these kids aren't going to have a dad, and that's all he wanted, was to be a dad to them. There's so many kids out there who don't have a dad, and these kids had one of the best one, and now he's gone, and he's taken from all of us. And it's just absolutely horrific. I'm sorry, what?
All right. And let me answer some things there. There's we have a thread going on Facebook. We have a thread going on YouTube also. And I love people that, who come up with these anonymous accounts, to try to hide themselves, and make little statements and stuff like that. By the way, our call-in number is 512-643-5483. Call me and ask me the questions that you have. It is 512-643-5483. And let me say that again. That is 512-643-5483, because Rob McNeely says, he's got a lot to say. Rob says, let's see, Chad refused to leave, threatened, charged, and assaulted Kyle. Let me tell you something, Rob McNeely. You cannot shoot someone for criminal trespass. And the question, Rob McNeely, is, was he trying to kill him? That is the question. Not push him, not hit him, not assault him. Was he trying to kill him? If he was not trying to kill him, because the law says, aggravated kidnapping, murder, sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault, robbery, aggravated robbery. If you don't know the law, Rob McNeely, I suggest you go read a book. Go sleep on it, because you're obviously ignorant of what the law says.
Yeah, you can't murder someone for putting their chest into you.
No, they can bump you with their chest. The question is, are they trying to kill you? Don't be a little wimp your entire life, Rob McNeely. And you know what? Maybe you need to stand up and try to fight every once in a while. A gun's not for every single situation. Don't be a little wimp. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Natalie.
No, thank you. I love that because it's so true. You know, it's all these people on Facebook are spreading all this false information and saying all this stuff. And it's just, it comes down to the point Kyle should be arrested. And there's absolutely no reason he shouldn't be arrested. Do I think that he has a right to a fair trial? Absolutely. I do. We all do. But to not even arrest this guy is absolutely insane to me because it's clearly not self-defense. It's clearly murder. And it's, like I said, my mom is now without her husband. His kids are now without a father for absolutely no reason. There was no reason for this to happen.
And this is clearly not the castle doctrine. We've gone over that. It's clearly not the stand your ground law. We've talked about that. You know, you got to learn what the law is. If you don't know, I suggest you go to your local licensed to carry handgun instructor, sit down in a class and ask some questions because you obviously don't know what the law is. And I reach out to everyone. I've reached out to everyone on both sides of this case and asked them to come on the show, whether it's with them or their attorney. And if they did not come to the show, if they're not here to let you know what their side of the story is, that's because they refuse to either respond or reply to my messages. And I reach out to Kyle Coverup personally to his cell phone, his personal cell phone, to say, hey, Kyle, come on to the show. I don't expect him to come on, but I expect his attorney to come on and let us know. And that's why I'm calling out to the Texas Attorney General's office. Someone needs to step up to the plate and justice needs to be served because this is a clear case of miscarriage of justice. If I was in the same situation, I would be underneath the jail. This is horrific. This has been on, this is national. This week, you're going to see this on every national news network in the country. This is horrific. And this should not have happened. And once it does happen, we expect justice to take place. We come back from the break. I want to talk about, I want to go over the video a little more, frame by frame. I want to talk about what was said after the shots were fired a little more. And then we'll close this out. We'll move on to something else because, unless, you guys are going to call in and tell me I'm wrong. Like I said, our call-in number is 512-643-5483. Call me and let me know where I'm wrong. Am I wrong in this case? Am I misunderstanding the Texas, law when it comes to criminal trespass? Am I misunderstanding the castle doctrine law in the state of Texas? Am I misunderstanding, when you can legally shoot someone? Because when you pull that gun out and use it, I suggest, you might want to get an attorney. You might want to, get Texas and U.S. Law Shield or some other legal service to protect yourself because this guy has messed up and there's no coming back from this. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Hi, this is Stephen Williford, the Barefoot Defender. I get my global gun news from Michael Cargill at Come and Talk It.
Hello, my name is Edwin Walker. I'm an independent program attorney with Texas Law Shield. I want to talk to you today about an issue that we see on a daily basis. In fact, you yourself will encounter it on a daily basis, and that is the subject of road rage. I am sure that you have all seen road rage. You may have actually been involved in a road rage incident. Now, if you're a responsible gun owner, I'm going to give you a few words of advice on how to react when you find yourself in one of these unfortunate road rage incidents. While on the roadways, we all observe something that makes us upset. Whether it's poor driving, unsafe driving, or just simply somebody being very discourteous. By all means, you should restrain yourself from engaging that person and telling them how bad their actions were. because this can be perceived as an act of road rage. If you're a lawful gun owner, you have a firearm in your vehicle, you do not want to be viewed as the aggressor in a road rage situation. Now, with regard to a situation where an individual has chosen to rage against you, and you are the actual victim of the road rage, if you and the other individuals are still in their automobiles, do not use your firearm to respond to any of the rager's activities. This is because law enforcement views the fact that you're both still safely in your metal boxes as removing any threat of immediacy that you may be harmed. So please, if you have a gun, somebody is raging against you, forget you have a gun. Don't display it, don't brandish it, don't show it, don't point it, and for God's sake, don't fire it. This could result in a lot of trouble for you. Now let's look at a situation where a road rage incident has escalated. It has escalated to the point where one of the participants has actually gotten out of their vehicle. We recommend that you stay in your vehicle at all times. Do not exit your vehicle, because the person who exits their vehicle is going to be looked at as the aggressor. If the other individual has exited their vehicle and they are not in contact with your vehicle and they do not have a weapon, then do not feel that you can display your weapon in an act of self-defense. People are allowed to just simply stand there and scream at you, scream whatever they want. Until they make a demonstrative effort to try to harm you, there is no immediate threat that would justify displaying or shooting or brandishing your firearm. Now, in the event that the person shows their own weapon, in particular a firearm, the existence of their weapon would give you reasonable belief that there was an immediate threat of harm.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, once again, we're talking about a shooting that took place back in November the 5th in Lubbock, Texas. We're talking about when Kyle Coverup allegedly shot and killed Chad Reed in Lubbock, Texas. And still to this date, here we are, November 28th, and no arrests have been made. I've asked both sides, both parties, to come on the radio show to talk about this case of, whether it's either, the persons involved or their attorneys to come on the show. And so far, only one side have actually come on the show to talk about what has happened. I've reached out several times on several different ways and made sure they got my message. I actually sent them text messages and phone calls personally to their cell phones to ask them to come on the show to talk about this case. And it's peculiar because this case involves a judge that's been appointed by Governor Greg Abbott to a district seat, who is a witness to this situation, allegedly. And so Judge Anne Marie Carruth is married to Kyle Coverup, who allegedly committed this heinous crime. And we're talking about, homicide here. We're talking about, and yes, I am caught up on criminal trespass because I'm listening to the words of the guy that pulled the trigger, the shooter. I'm listening to the shooter's words. And his words were, "I told y'all to leave."
You did it, not him.
I told all of y'all to leave.
We came to get his son.
He's not here.
She should have told that. She should have told that.
None of y'all should be here. None of y'all should be here. I asked you to leave. I did everything. I did not want to do any of this.
And this is about, and he admits this is about them being on the property, criminal trespass, by his words, his admission. And with that alone, you're saying this is about criminal trespass. You cannot shoot someone for criminal trespass. You can't shoot someone just because they're in your front yard, just because you're in your backyard. If someone breaks into your house, unlawfully enters your home, if someone removes you from your house or enters your home while you're inside, you can use force, deadly force to stop them. But just because they're in your front lawn and you tell them to leave, you say, "Get out of my yard." They can say, "No, I'm not leaving." There's not a whole bunch you can do. You can use force, but you cannot use deadly force at all. You can't fire warning shots. That is deadly conduct. That is aggravated assault. You cannot do that. And if you people don't understand that, I don't know what else to say to you. And I'm listening to people in the thread, in on the social media thread that don't understand this. And this is why you people are responsible for people getting charged with crimes and going to jail for the rest of your life, because you're an idiot. You're a fool. And by the way, my telephone number is 512-643-5483. Come and prove me wrong. That's 512-643-5483. Come and talk it. All right, so, man, I want to thank our guests for coming on the show today and, telling us, your side of the story and what's going on. Natalie, I don't know if you have anything in closing, but please let us know, what would you like for people to understand about, this case and your stepfather?
I think if I have anything to say, it's that Chad didn't deserve this. He wasn't going there with the intention to hurt anybody or cause physical harm or damage the property. He was specifically going to pick up his son. I'm making a plea to the AG and to whoever else can do something about this and help us get this guy arrested and press charges. It's imperative. It's just absolutely insane that he hasn't been. It's hard for my mom to wake up every morning knowing that her, husband died for no logical reason. So yeah, I guess if I have anything to say, it's just please help, please spread the word, and please bring justice for Chad.
Exactly. Rules for thee, but not for me. We got to make sure that justice is spread around this country evenly.
Yeah, if you're married to a state district judge, then, you might get special privileges under the law, apparently.
Apparently, if you're high society, you get special privileges in this country.
Rules for thee, but not for people married to a state district judge.
That's right.
That's what it's like.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said that's what it seems like. Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, man. You know what? I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for standing strong and coming on the show, and Natalie, and giving us, your take on what happened. I really appreciate you spending your Sunday with us.
Oh, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you more than you know.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too.
All right. My condolences to your family. All right. So, and we're talking about Lubbock, Texas, where a man shot and killed his partner's ex doing a custody exchange. The man is claiming self-defense, despite video evidence. The police haven't arrested the man. And the other, in other news, I want to talk about Robert Francis O'Rourke is once again running for office, although no one likes him.
Hell yes.
Robert Francis O'Rourke is running for governor for the state of Texas. And I think this is about what's happening down ballot. And this has started a fight in my house. You know what, Zach?
Yeah.
That's right. We've started a fight in my house. So apparently
sides. There's always a fight in your house.
That's right. Sides have been chosen. We pick sides. And so apparently it's me against everyone else in the house. They're like, we've volunteered to campaign for Robert O'Rourke. I'm like, okay. And they've threatened me that they're going to wear a red shirt. I say, well, okay. Well, there may be that I didn't choose violence.
It was brought upon you.
But it was brought upon me. If you wear a red shirt, we're gonna have a problem. So the sides have been chosen here, and they're threatened to, go campaign and block walk for Robert Francis O'Rourke. So, so the battle lines have been drawn. So the fight has begun. So we'll see what happens. And I think this is more about what happens down ballot, because down ballot, what they're saying is, hey, this guy is not going to win. I doubt very seriously, Robert Francis O'Rourke can actually beat Governor Abbott. I just doubt it very seriously.
Well, say goodbye to your AR-15.
If you do.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
Yeah, I guess he didn't get the memo about how many people are actually killed with AR-15s every year, which is less than the number of people who are killed with hammers every year.
I think they should be focusing more on, especially in Austin. I mean, in Austin, you're talking about fatalities on Interstate 35 and, the highways is really high. You're talking about, people getting stabbed. You're talking about...
Austin is one of the 5 safest big cities in the country.
So there's so many, other things. We were talking about COVID-19. There's so many different ways that people are dying in this country. Guns is like really low on the scale there. So man, this dude, he needs to get a grip. Seriously, is he gonna get your AR-15, Zach?
He's gonna get yours.
He's gonna get yours. He said he's coming after yours.
No, he said yours, actually.
He said he gonna learn you. He gonna learn you today. I'm telling you. All right, so and there's a video. I don't know if we have that video of where there's a guy that was at an event for Robert Francis O'Rourke. I call him by his name. The name that's on his birth certificate. I don't know this other name that he goes by, but I call him by his name that's on the birth certificate, and so there's a video of a guy confronting him at an event, and so we actually have the audio of that video. Man, I'm telling you, wait till you take a listen to this stuff here. This is some good stuff right here.
Hey, Beto, they don't want to let me take a picture with you, man. I just want to shake your hand. Beto, I'm Robert.
Robert, you're my tocayo.
I'm native Houstonian.
Thank you for being
On
here.
behalf of the ranchers, the oil and gas, and farmers.
Yes, sir.
And Maxine Waters.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in your grill telling you don't come back.
Okay.
We don't want you here.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you.
You said it was good. Thank you. Get the hell out. You ain't taking my guns either. You ain't taking my guns. Don't even try to get your hands off of me.
My hands are off.
Get your hands off of me. Adios.
Thank you.
How you like that? We're still here.
And see, they want you to think it's just your white Texans that are going against Beto O'Rourke. They don't understand, that there are a lot of people that are just not liking this guy at all. Because when it comes to firearms and you being able to protect yourself inside your home, we're like, whoa, hold on there, slow down there, partner. I need to be able to protect myself inside my home because we've defunded the police. And you're talking about taking my gun away from me, where I need to defend myself. That is a problem, partner. And we're not gonna play that game here. Not in Texas. No, sir. And it's crazy. What do you say, Zach?
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
And you know what? And to change gears a little bit, there's another story that you sent to me. You sent it to me on text.
Oh, geez.
I know. And
that one.
It's not in the show doc. It's not in the document there, Casey. But it was a story of a lady on a flight. She's on the airline, and she's breastfeeding a cat
On a Delta Airlines flight.
Delta Air. She's yes. I can't even. The most disgusting thing I've ever heard.
No, it's not
of.
a meow. It's more like a. No, that's a.
I'm just saying, what's wrong with you people? I don't want the water that you people are drinking. I don't want to be nowhere near you. I'm telling you right now. If you are breastfeeding a cat on an airline, I need to separate myself from you. I don't want to breathe the air that you're breathing. I don't want to be in that airspace. No, I need to 6 feet. 6 feet, lady. 6 feet. That's all I got to say.
More than 6 feet.
6 feet, lady. Stay 6 feet away from me. If you're going to breastfeed your baby, I'm sorry, not a baby, a cat on the airline.
Delta Airline flight DL 1360 to Atlanta.
This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Peace, this is Maj Toure. You're listening to Come and Talk It Radio with Michael Cargill. I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government.
after 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were compliant with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so man, I'm looking at the comments on social media here, and Rob is saying that there's no proof that the warning shot was intentional.
That's funny.
You are a fool. Dude, let me tell you, my number is 512-643-5483. That is 512-643-5483.
Yeah, Rob should call in. So what Rob is basically saying is that whenever you fire a shot, then you should be put up on stand and asked what your intention was. They should say, hey, what was your intention when you fired that?
Excuse me, middle school class. Yes, Michael. Okay, middle school. So when you're looking at this video, when he takes a step back, look at his foot and point the gun at the ground and fires a shot, do you think that was intentional? Yes, Michael. Thank you, middle school. That's from a group of kids. Okay? You're an idiot. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, he should be asked what his intention was when he fires the shot. Because intention matters.
That's
when
right.
you fire your gun, it matters.
And I'm a pro Second Amendment person. I'm telling you right now. And if I think you're justified, I'm gonna stand right in your corner and say you're justified. I will defend you to my last dying breath. But when you're wrong, you're wrong. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your position is in society. I don't care if your wife is a judge. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And
I don't care if your wife is a state district judge or not.
You're wrong.
It doesn't matter to me.
It does not matter. Does not matter. All right, so
yeah, every bullet that comes out of your gun, you are responsible for.
And you should
know
this.
There's no excuse. No excuse. When you fire a shot from your gun, it doesn't matter. Oh, did I mean to kill him? Did I mean to shoot that guy in the head or not? It doesn't matter. I shot him in the head. Oh crap.
I just don't get people, and this is why some people need to sit in class and just soak it all in. Seriously, you just need to soak it in and sit there and ask questions, because you are going to be responsible why someone is charged with a serious crime, because they're going to take advice from you and they're going to go to jail. And I suggest they don't drop the soap.
Yeah.
Seriously. All right. So apparently a Southwest employee was fatally shot. Hear that story. Southwest employee fatally shot outside a Texas airport. So a Southwest Airlines employee was fatally shot while leaving work. In a statement, Southwest said, "This is heartbreaking, tragic loss. No arrests have been made." So, and this is crazy, and you got to be aware of your surroundings at all times. And I don't want to victim blame or anything like that. I'm not trying to do that, but man, the world is getting crazy. Tensions are high. People are upset. Your airline, employee, and maybe you yelled at a customer or something like that. Man, I'm going to, definitely put my head on the swivel. When I leave my office, I put my head on the swivel, at all times. Always aware of my surroundings at all times. There are a lot of crazy people out here who do a lot of crazy things. Let's see what we got. We're going to talk about today. John Lennon. What is that story about? Circuit Americas. Circuit Americas and their security. Apparently there's a John Lennon concert and at Circuit of the Americas. You hear about this, Zach?
Which one?
Well, John Lennon, had a concert at Circuit of the Americas, and people, was it Rolling
Stones?
Oh, was it Rolling Stones?
That's a big show.
Okay. All right. So apparently it's Rolling Stones had a concert at CODA at Circuit of the Americas, and people are just upset because they got stuck in traffic for hours, trying to make it to the concert. And I've talked about this before. I talked about how security is the worst at Circuit of the Americas. Here you are, you're talking about one of the biggest events of the year. This is not golf. The people at golf, you think, oh man, golf, they're rich. Nah, they're not rich. Circuit of the Americas, that F1 race, they're rich. Okay, that's some real money there. All right, so those, when that big race happens at the end of the day on Sunday, you would think, wow, security's got to be tight. Do you know that I've gone to almost every Circuit of America's race, the F1 race, out of the track there? Do you know I've never shown a ticket to get into that race?
How'd you get in?
I go there, I grab some food or whatever, then I have to come back or come over here, to get to the station. But I've never shown a ticket to get into the stadium, because at that point that they're getting ready for the race, they've been there all weekend long, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday is the last, the F1 race is the last race of the day. That's it. They're done. And then there's a concert. Well, security is so lax, they're tired, they're worn out, and they don't check people. They're not searching. You can make it. Man, I made it up. I remember, making it up to the stadium where the person is doing the concert. And I think we had this last concert. You had what's his name? God, what's the guy that did was doing like a DJ? He was a DJ.
Which one?
Oh, come on, Casey, help me out. Basketball player.
Circuit of the Americas?
Yeah, he's like a DJ. Someone's gonna tell me on Facebook. They'll tell me. It'll come to me. And I made it almost up to the stands next to this guy, and I didn't have a ticket to get in. That shouldn't happen. I shouldn't make it that close to a celebrity with no ticket to get into a area that should be secure. And we got to do better when it comes to security. And that event right there, that's a nightmare waiting to happen. You're talking about the F1 race. You're talking about someone can set something off or do something at that event and kill a lot of people.
You're talking about Shaquille O'Neal?
Shaquille O'Neal, that's right.
Shaq,
that's right.
DJ Diesel.
DJ Diesel, that's right. I got close to DJ Diesel and didn't have a ticket. I'm telling you, you're gonna learn today, okay? And I shouldn't be able to do that. I've never had a ticket and gone, and now they're going to start looking for me. Okay, they're going to have a picture of me, this black guy wearing a red shirt. trying to sneak into the F1 race. Trying to sneak into the F1 race. Don't let this guy into the concert. Don't let him into the, into the place. Check his ticket. And they never check. And they don't check. They don't verify. They got to do better. We've got to do better when it comes to security at these events. Same thing with the event that happened down in Houston. Down in Houston, what was that concert? The big, huge concert they had?
Oh, the one where people got sent to hell.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah. And I'm looking at all the different lawsuits, like 14-year-old family is filing a lawsuit. And I'm like, who in the world let their 14-year-old kid go to a concert, that's a devil worshiping concert almost, allegedly. Gotta throw that allegedly in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I wouldn't let my 14-year-old kid go to that type of concert where I know there are drugs and stuff like that. They're at the concert. 14 years old? What kind of parent am I? I just don't get it. I don't.
Travis Scott. That's what it was.
Yeah, Travis Scott. And the first sign of that, and I hold the Houston Police Department responsible for that, because the second that you had about 100 people rush the entrance, rush the gate, and tear down the metal detectors at the gate, that entire event should have been shut down. But instead, they didn't do that. That's going to be the responsibility of security. That should have been closed down right then and there. It should have got to the point where the concert even started. So you're talking about, there's so much involved in all this stuff, and we're always pointing the blame at the wrong place. And unfortunately, don't get mad at me. I call it like I see it. All right, so, man, what else I want to talk about? Baltimore. Baltimore is always in the news. Baltimore. So a former Baltimore County officer sentenced to home detention for rape of a 22-year-old woman. Did you hear that story, Zach?
Nope.
So apparently Officer Anthony Westerman, 27, was convicted in August of 2 counts of second-degree rape, 1 count of third-degree sexual offense, 1 count of fourth-degree sexual offense, and 1 count of second-degree assault, according to a search of online court records. Westerman was suspended without pay from Baltimore County Police Department after the police department learned of his charges in December 2019. At Friday's sentencing hearing, Baltimore County Circuit Judge Keith Trufer withdrew one of the rape convictions and combined the sentence for the remaining counts, saying he had only intended to convict Westerman on 1 count of second-degree rape. He sentenced Westerman to 15 years behind bars, but suspended all but 4 years of home detention. And the judge also sentenced Westerman to a day in jail to the second-degree assault of a second victim for what he characterized as a boorish act, according to the Baltimore County State's Attorney's Office. He was also offered to serve probation following their completion of his sentence. That's crazy. Crazy. Unless we hold these elected officials accountable, whether you're a judge in Lubbock, Texas, whether you're, in Austin, Texas, whether you're in Georgia, and keep in mind in Georgia, where that DA did not do their job, that DA is being brought on charges for not bringing charges in the Ahmaud Arbery case against the McMichaels.
Yeah, what did you say? It took 10 weeks for those guys to even get charges brought to them?
That's right. And someone on social media is like, well, he hasn't been arrested yet in this case in Lubbock, Texas.
So that means everything's good.
Yeah. No, it's not. It took 10 weeks, people. 10 weeks for the McMichaels to be charged in the case of killing Ahmaud Arbery, where they were convicted of, they got the record, 9 felonies for 1 murder.
They got murder. Yeah.
9 felonies for 1 murder. That's a world record. 9 felonies for 1 murder. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It. Don't drop the soap.
This is Coley on Noir, and you're listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, I invoke my right to remain silent, and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned, those statements can and will be used against you because you're not being interrogated. You're just starting to spout off. This is why it's imperative that you know your rights and you shouldn't rely on the police to read them to you. Affirmatively invoke your rights. Say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent and my right to my attorney. Once you do that, the police legally shouldn't continue questioning you without your attorney present. But remember, there's a second part to this equation. After invoking your rights, you must exercise those rights. That means you have to keep your mouth closed. Protect yourself. Don't let the legal system take advantage of you after an incident. And Law Shield members, if you've been involved in a self-defense incident, remember to call the emergency hotline and speak with your independent program attorney.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
Let's take a trip over to Virginia, Roanoke, Virginia. And this is a case that no one is talking about. In this case, the verdict of this case came out on the same day, Zach, as the Kyle Rittenhouse case. You know, and this is a year, I'm reminding people, this is the year that you don't want to be a vigilante and do vigilante justice. You don't want to be that group of that mob or the people that chase someone, and try to attack them, because in Kyle Rittenhouse case, Kyle Rittenhouse is found not guilty. You don't want to be in the situation of Ahmaud Arbery, and where you're chasing Ahmaud Arbery, you chase him, you block his path, you keep him from going about his way, you block him with the vehicle, pull out a rifle, end up shooting him. You're going to be found guilty, of like the world record of amount of felonies, the world record. Here we are. Let's talk about, and this doesn't fit the narrative, and because this is the year where the juries are getting it right. All of our juries are getting it right. And I've talked about this for over a year now. I've talked about the Kyle Rittenhouse case for over a year. I talked about the Ahmaud Arbery case for over a year. And these cases turned out exactly the way I said they would turn out. And here we are. No one's talking about DeMarcus Glenn was found not guilty in Roanoke, Virginia. A man charged with killing a 16-year-old boy in 2019 has been found not guilty of all 4 felony charges against him by a jury in Roanoke Circuit Court. DeMarcus Glenn was found not guilty late Wednesday afternoon in the death of Tyler Palumba in Roanoke. And so, it's man, I tell you, you got to educate yourself on these cases and how things, go about. It doesn't fit the narrative. And the number one that I want people to know about is Andrew Coffey. Did you hear about him, Zach?
Nope.
Andrew Coffey, the 4th, was found not guilty in all counts of murder, attempted first-degree murder. Andrew Coffey is out of Florida, the Florida man. Andrew Coffey was found not guilty of all counts of murder and attempted first-degree murder on Friday, the same day as Kyle Rittenhouse. Coffey was accused of firing at Indian River County Sheriff's deputies during an early morning drug raid at his home back in 2017. His girlfriend, Altiera Woods, was caught in the crossfire. She was shot 10 times and later died. Coffey was charged with the murder of Woods. He was charged with his girlfriend's murder after a grand jury exonerated 2 law enforcement officers of her death. So they exonerated the law enforcement officers and turned around and charged him with his girlfriend's death, and the police officers actually shot her. Both the case went to the jury's hand. Coffey took the stand to defend himself and blaming deputies for his girlfriend's death. The defense said Coffey was asleep and thought the flash bang was a gunfire, so he fired his gun because he thought that he was under attack. And I was trying to protect me. He was trying to protect his girlfriend. He thought that he was doing, that's what he was doing. And he felt that, he needed to protect her. And the prosecutor said deputies did announce that they were there. And they said Coffey fired at deputies and they returned fire. Coffey was found guilty on account of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, which could have been penalty of up to 30 years in prison. He was also found not guilty on the murder of Woods. So it is disappointing that the jury did not see the tragic death of Altiera Woods occurred as a direct result of the actions of Andrew Coffey, according to what the sheriff department says. And they're saying their hearts go out to the Woods family as they still suffer from a loss of their daughter. But we stand by the statement that we would still be here and had Coffey simply complied with law enforcement. And so, the tables are different. 2021 is a different year. This man here, police executed a warrant at his house. He defended himself and he took the stand. He defended himself on the stand, pleaded his case to the jury, and jury say, you know what? You're not guilty of shooting, at trying to kill the police officer. You're not guilty of the death of your girlfriend. And so this proves that, the times are different now. It's not like it was in 2019. Times are different. And I think people have woken up and they're looking at these situations now, and juries are getting smart. Juries are educating themselves on what laws are. And I'm so glad that a lot of our jurors, the people that are on Facebook in the comment section, don't go vote because they don't get that voter, that summons to go to to be a juror. So I'm actually glad of that because you guys need to educate yourself on social media. I'm telling you right now. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, people are waking up. I mean, it's happening everywhere. It seems like, basically what's happening is jurors are just 12 of your peers, right?
Yeah.
And they're deciding your fate. They are looking at the law and seeing how a normal person would interpret this law and how they would basically react to it. And it's like, people are getting charged with these crimes that aren't necessarily crimes, right?
Now, there's one case that I'm confused about. And I don't have I need so much more information because I feel I'm not getting enough information about this case. And this is out of, I believe this case is in Wisconsin. And it's a case, it's in the aftermath of the Kyle Rittenhouse acquittal in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Last week, advocates are turning back to the case of Crystal Kaiser, who is also arguing it was self-defense when she killed her adult sexual abuser.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and set his house on fire and stole his car in 2018. Now, Kaiser was 17 years of age at the time, is accused of shooting Randall Voller III in the head, and Voller had previously been arrested on child sexual assault charges, and Kaiser was released from jail in June of 2020 after groups such as the Chicago Community Bond Fund raised money to pay her $400,000 bond, and she is still awaiting trial. Now, prosecutors say the killing was premeditated, but what's notable in this case is that Kaiser's lawyers are invoking a self-defense argument that has never been used in a homicide case in the state before. And so originally, Kenosha County Circuit Judge David Wilk said that Kaiser could not use the affirmative defense argument in this case because it involved homicide. But Wilk's decision was overturned by an appellate court that ruled that per a state statute, Kaiser can argue affirmative defense if her attorneys can show that her actions against Voller were a direct result of the trafficking she experienced. And the Wisconsin Supreme Court is currently reviewing the case, and so we'll see what happens. And I just need more information because she is, I want to make sure I understand this right. Shot him, killed him, burned his house, and stole his car.
That's intense.
And that's and so it goes. And to me, it goes. It's she's like 17 years old. I can see where she's. Man, that's very traumatic. Very traumatic experience there at 17 years of age, and that's her way of reaction of that as a 17-year-old. I can see a jury saying, you know what, man, she's justified because at 17, that's how she reacted to something that happened to her that's very traumatic. So temporarily, maybe she was temporarily insane. But the traumatic experience, I can see that.
Temporary insanity.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely. And I just need more information, from that, more details of that case. So I want to see, how this comes out. I don't know what you think about that. Let's see, let me go to social media and see what our people are on social media. For some reason, I can't see YouTube. Rob blocked somebody. Rob is upset. Oh, Rob, take your toys and go home. He's blocking people. Oh, the truth hurts. Oh, so sad. So sad. All right. So let's see what's going on. So we're still stuck on this case that happened in Lubbock, Texas. So let's go back over this one more time. All right. So Lubbock, Texas, you have a guy, a father that goes to a home to try to get his kid, on his scheduled pickup time of 3:15 p.m. 3:15. And he perceives the mother of the child to play some type of game, refusing to, hand over the kid, to the father at 3:15. She says, come back at 6 o'clock or something to that effect. And he says, look, no, I'm supposed to pick my kid up at 3:15. 3:15 is when I'm supposed to pick my child up. And this guy, the worst thing this guy's saying is he's saying, I'm going to haul all you guys into court. This guy is not threatening anyone. He's not, using any threatening language or anything like that. He says, look, I'm going to haul all you guys into court. I'm going to haul you into court. I'm going to haul you into court. I'm going to haul Anne Marie, which is the Judge Coverup, which is the husband of the guy whose house he's at. So then Mr. Coverup, the judge's husband, goes in the house and gets a rifle. A Ruger PC-9, 9mm, comes out with the rifle. He says, leave. Well, unfortunately, you cannot use deadly force just because someone's committing criminal trespass. You've asked someone to leave. They refuse to leave. You cannot use deadly force for that. They can say, no, I'm not leaving. You got to think of the case of the McCluskeys in Missouri. The McCluskeys in Missouri, had a rifle. The husband had a rifle. The wife had a revolver. And they're like, get off our property. Where they went wrong is you cannot point a gun at someone. You cannot use threatening language with someone.
You can't even point it at them.
You can't even point it at them because they're only committing criminal trespass. All right. So, man, and we'll take a look at the video. Think about it on your own. As always, more guns equals less crime. You've been listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.